So the TikTok ban is going into effect in a couple of days, this Sunday. And what it means is that those who don't have the app won't be able to download it, and those who do have the app, they won't be getting any updates to it. So eventually it'll become unstable. The reason why this ban is going into effect is because Congress passed a law that mandated that TikTok, which is owned by a Chinese company, had to sell into its US market. And the reason why is that this Chinese company shares data with the Chinese Communist Party. Now, this company declined to do that. They said they're not going to sell, so the app will just eventually become useless to the US market. The reason why Congress wanted to stop TikTok is because there were obviously a lot of Americans using it, that their data was being compromised to China. And of course, that's not the only way. This is just one of many ways that the United States is compromised in that way to China. But also because a lot of US government employees was using the app. Now, Donald Trump banned the app for US employees, with certain segments of US employees couldn't use TikTok. But a lot of the reason, now see, the personal data breach, the Communist Party in China was taking this data from Americans. That's the official reason. The less official reason, and the reason that's on a lot of people's minds, is that TikTok was had a logarithm that was promoting the woke liberal content creators. So that type of content, the woke content, was front and center, whereas the conservative content was essentially shadow banned. And this was the case for many years. And until recently, they changed the logarithm so that some of your conservative, like the libs of TikTok, for example, that was allowed to gain popularity. Now, the woke stuff is still more popular, but they changed the algorithms to try to get sympathy from the right so that they wouldn't get banned in the United States, effectively get banned in the United States. Now, I caution people, if they're looking at this and they're cheering this for political reasons, I caution people that nonetheless, this can bleed into a First Amendment issue. You may not like the way the logarithm is, and you especially might not like the content that's being promoted by that logarithm. But I caution granting the government to, that kind of power. Now, the Supreme Court upheld the TikTok ban, saying that it did not infringe upon the First Amendment. And technically it does not. However, just because you don't like someone's speech, that doesn't mean that you can censor that. And I would say that to anybody. It doesn't matter what political persuasion you happen to be. The important thing is the principle. Now, TikTok, certainly, it does have the issue of breaching people's data. Yes, it is a Chinese company, and that is a problem. It's not just TikTok, though. There is the issue of Chinese firms buying land near military bases here in the United States. There are a lot of Chinese spies. There was a big problem years ago of Chinese spies in universities. So it's not like TikTok is the only means that the Chinese have infiltrated the United States. They have done in other ways as well. Now, if you wanted to be consistent with this and say that, we can't allow a Chinese company accessing data of Americans, that's fine. But you also have to say that we need to look into these firms buying land near U.S. military bases. So, again, I caution people. I know there's a lot of people on the right celebrating that. They're saying, yes, let's ban TikTok because of the logarithms. That is not the appropriate reason to ban the app. A lot of people on the left feel like their free speech has been curtailed And I suppose there's something to be said about that. But then again, you got to remember that the algorithms were shaped in such a way that the left was artificially promoted. Uh, you know, it would be nice if social media and these apps, the social media apps and these social media websites, were just left alone, and the algorithms were more neutral. People that rose to the top were at the top because they produced good content that people wanted. You had a free market of ideas like we did back in the 2000s. It'd be nice to return to that kind of the internet, where you didn't have, you don't have people fighting over apps and websites, like YouTube and Google and Facebook and TikTok. You didn't have the fight over the way the algorithms should be manipulated. Instead, it should be just a free market of ideas, and that, like I said, good ideas will rose to the top. Do I support the TikTok ban? I think there's definitely something to be said about having an app able to access personal data that's then being relayed to a foreign government, a hostile foreign government. There's definitely something to be said about that. Could it have been done better? I don't know. That's something that has to be really well thought out. Given what knowledge I have, I would say that I would support the app on the issue of foreign data being leaked, being relayed to a hostile foreign government. However, as much as I don't like the content of a lot of, I don't like the way the algorithms are written on TikTok just to promote the type of content that gets popular. Now, I don't like that content. That is, however, not the reason why I support the ban. So anyway, I'll put a link in the description of the article below that I'm referring to. So anyway, that's my thoughts on that.